Okay, let's get into this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the world of aesthetic medicine.
But not in the way you might think.
No, not at all. We're skipping the new tech and going straight for this pretty radical business strategy. We're looking at masterclass excerpts from a Dr. Ari Masudi.
And his background is really the key here. It tells you everything. He's a molecular biologist, a former researcher in regenerative medicine.
Who then completely pivots.
Completely. Becomes a science tech business consultant, but specifically for the beauty industry. So he's bringing this hard science lens to a world that's often, all about marketing fluff.
And his message to aesthetic practitioners is, well, it's pretty blunt. He's telling them to abandon the whole anti-aging narrative completely.
Right. So our mission today is to really unpack his core strategy. How do these ambitious clinic owners transform their practices into what he calls the ultimate sex appeal destination?
Which sounds like just a slogan, but it's not.
It's a fundamental mindset shift. He positions their work not as maintenance, but as, get this, personal resurrection.
Okay, so to really get that, we need the anecdote he uses right at the start. It really sets the scene. It's about a woman named Cindy. She's 50, recently divorced.
She's back out there.
She's back out there, and she has this realization she doesn't actually want to look 25 again. I mean, that just feels exhausting, impossible.
It's a defensive goal.
Exactly. Defensive. What she wants is something else. It's that quiet, magnetic power. She wants to walk into a room and, feel desired again. Chosen. It's active. It's offensive magnetism, not just fighting this losing battle against time.
And that one distinction, magnetism versus maintenance, that's the entire engine of his strategy. It just perfectly frames the gap between what most clinics sell, which is, wrinkle reduction.
And what patients are actually buying with their emotions, which
Yeah.
is desire, confidence, power.
Right. So this brings us to that core idea. Dr. Masudi literally says, and this is a quote, "Forget anti-aging, forget wellness."
Which is a bold thing to say. Those are multi-billion-dollar industries. So
Yeah.
why? What's the flaw he sees?
It all comes down to the patient's motivation. Anti-aging is, by its very nature, defensive. It's all about fear. Fear of loss, fear of fighting entropy.
So the patient comes in trying to minimize a negative.
Precisely. That patient is sitting there thinking, I just hope I don't look older. But the patient who's bought into this magnetism concept, they're thinking something totally different.
They're thinking.
I want people to turn their heads when I walk in. I want to command attention. And Masudi's point, which is backed by data, is that the desire to be desired is just a much, much more powerful motivator than the fear of looking old.
Okay, and this is where his science background really comes into play because it moves this beyond just clever marketing. He's arguing attraction isn't just subjective.
Not at all. It's hardwired. He says it activates these visceral reward centers in the observer's brain. It's biology.
And it's fast.
Incredibly fast. He cites research showing that we as humans make attractiveness judgments in under 50 milliseconds.
50 milliseconds. You can't even process that consciously.
You can't. It's a rapid, almost evolutionary assessment. It's about vitality, fitness, all these things we now just label appeal.
So if the judgment is basically instant, how does he tell practitioners to, engineer a treatment around that? What are the triggers they need to hit?
They have to get laser focused on universal markers, things the eye registers immediately. So forget just smoothing wrinkles. The goal is to build magnetic pull.
Through what specifically?
Facial symmetry, for one,
Right.
But also, and this is crucial, skin luminosity, that glow that signals health. Then there are specific proportions and, really importantly, high contrast in features.
So you're not trying to look generically younger. You're
No.
trying to look powerfully magnetically structured.
Exactly. You're giving the observer's brain the signals it's already programmed to find appealing.
Okay, so that's the mindset. We are architects of desire. Let's get into the pillars of how you build that. Pillar one is cognitive appeal. This is about the physical space.
Right. If that first impression is made in a half second, your clinic can't look like a dentist's office.
He says to ditch the sterile medical look.
Completely. The target aesthetic he gives is boutique hotel meets a private members club. Think velvet, warm lighting that's actually flattering, mirrors that make you look good.
Right.
Every single detail has to scream exclusivity and transformation.
And the visual content, the before and afters, they have to change too.
Oh, dramatically. You're not selling the clinical result anymore. You're selling the consequence of that result.
So instead of a photo showing fewer wrinkles,
You show a photo that communicates a magnetic gaze, defined contours, and the captions have to sell that emotional shift. Not reduced crow's feet, but something like, she walks into rooms differently now.
or strangers approach approach him at bars again.
Exactly. You're trying to trigger desire in the person looking at the ad, not just show satisfaction from the last patient.
Okay, so the space gets their attention. Pillar 2 is about emotional activation. This is where the patient journey becomes, as he puts it, a seduction.
Because desire lives in emotion, not logic. And the key here is the consultation. They have to change the very first question.
So not what concerns you.
No, that's defensive. He teaches them to ask, when was the last time you felt absolutely magnetic? What would it take for you to feel that way walking into any room?
Wow, that completely reframes the conversation. You're immediately focused on aspiration, on power.
You bypass fear entirely, and the whole experience is a ritual. Dim lighting, maybe offering champagne and beautiful glassware, and get this, is playing sultry, low-frequency music.
Music. Why?
He cites studies showing that bass frequencies can subtly increase a person's confidence and lower their inhibitions. You're emotionally priming them to make a bold choice.
It's turning a medical appointment into this, like, sophisticated, indulgent experience.
And it ends with what he calls a signature moment. After the treatment, they give a small, luxurious gift, maybe a silk eye mask, a premium lip balm.
With a handwritten note.
Yeah, that says something like, your transformation has begun. It seals the experience as a luxury event, not a transaction.
Then we have pillar 3, motivational triggers. This is about making the decision to act irresistible.
And here, they use a bit of behavioral economics. They create urgency with scarcity. So instead of being available anytime, it's the magnetic enhancement. Only 8 appointments are available this month.
It filters out people who aren't serious.
And it builds prestige through exclusivity, an invitation-only inner circle for VIPs. It makes the patient feel chosen.
And I love this idea of structuring treatments as a journey, not just a one-off thing.
It's brilliant. It shifts the patient from thinking about one transaction to a long-term investment in themselves. You're not just buying filler, you're buying into level 1. The first impression on your way to level 3. The complete magnetism.
The practitioner becomes a strategic advisor.
On your personal power. And each level unlocks more exclusive perks, so it feels like a real structured path.
Okay, we've covered the psychology and the positioning. Now for the actual physical work. Pillar 4, what specific treatments does he say they must prioritize to hit those 50 millisecond triggers?
They have to be ruthless. The focus is on creating dimension, contrast, and how light plays on the face. For women, it's not just about lip volume anymore.
It's more specific.
It's about Cupid's bow definition. That little detail creates contrast and draws the eye instantly. Also, high-defined cheekbones and, again, that incredible skin luminosity.
And for men, it shifts to signals of, dominance.
Pure markers of masculine dominance. So a really angular, defined jawline, which is a universal signal of testosterone, and slightly lower, straighter brows. The whole point is that their competitors are busy removing lines. They are sculpting power.
But then he hits you with this huge idea. A perfectly sculpted face on a tired, unhealthy body is, I love this phrase, a Ferrari engine in a broken chassis.
Right. And that's the gateway to the really high-ticket concept, the Formula One stable.
This is the ecosystem.
This is the ecosystem that lets a clinic charge, and the source says anywhere from 25 to 45,000 euros for a package.
Wait, up to 45,000 euro? That seems insane. How do they justify that?
Because you're not competing with the doctor down the street anymore. You're competing with executive coaches, with high-end transformation retreats. The practitioner is the hub for this whole team.
So you're not selling a procedure anymore.
You're selling a life-altering outcome, and the scarcity is part of the appeal. He suggests patients have to apply for the Formula One program. It completely reframes the value.
Okay, so who's on this dream team that justifies the price tag?
First, a performance nutritionist. But they're not focused on weight loss. Their job is hormone balance and maximizing that skin luminosity from the inside.
Making the facial work even better.
Exactly. Then you have an elite fitness coach, and again, super specific. Their job is sculpting posture that commands attention. Open chest, aligned spine. Their workouts are designed to tone the neck and shoulders to perfectly frame the sculpted jawline.
And then there's the secret weapon, the one I didn't see coming.
The stage presence coach.
Right. What do?
This is someone, maybe from theater, who teaches the patient how to embody magnetism. They work on voice modulation, deeper, slower register, which is perceived as more attractive. They work on eye contact. They even role-play scenarios, like how to walk into a room and just own it.
So you're literally teaching them how to be magnetic.
It's method acting for real life. And the practitioner anchors this whole $35,000 transformation. The financial impact is obviously huge.
And finally, this all has to be reflected in the brand's voice. You have to sound the part.
You have to shift from what he calls the safety officer to the transformation artist.
So the old copy.
Was defensive. Our fillers are FDA approved and use the latest techniques, all very logical and boring. The new copy says, we sculpt faces that stop conversation.
We create the proportions that make people lean in closer.
It's a massive difference. It bypasses logic and goes straight for desire.
And that website hook says it all. Instead of welcome to our clinic.
It's, you know, that feeling when someone walks into a room and everyone notices? We create that.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
It immediately makes you want that feeling.
And that's why the whole strategy works. It's emotionally compelling. It taps into this universal human desire to be seen, to be desired. And because of the holistic approach, it's almost impossible for competitors to copy.
So the final takeaway is that the practitioner stops being a technician who minimizes wrinkles.
They become a desire architect. They create a face and a presence that dominates attention. They're leveraging principles from molecular biology to engineer an unfair advantage for their clients, both emotionally and financially.
And the source notes, really, that these doctors are giving patients something way more valuable than just youth. They're making them unforgettable.
Which is the ultimate commodity, right? In a world where everyone is fighting for attention, and it leaves you with a really provocative thought. If attraction is this language of contrast and symmetry and luminosity, and it's all processed in milliseconds, what's one small, intentional change you could make today in how you stand, how you speak, that would instantly shift how you are perceived?